What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to 876 United Facts TV. Now today, guys, as you will see by the title, who next? Right? Now, why this show is entitled Who Next is because, as you guys may also be aware by now, that Manchester United has made 3 signings thus far. These signings are Tom Heaton, the goalkeeper, Jadon Sancho, and of course Raphael Varane. Now, by now you guys may also be aware that the season has also begun and we are on 4 points. Yes, 4 which I think we should have been on 6. I was very disappointed with the dropped points on Sunday because I believe these are the critical things that helps to prove the season, and Sunday as well, that is Sunday that just went, it also proved what the frailties of Manchester United are, what are the issues, and blatantly by watching that game on Sunday, yes, there were defensive errors, there were sloppy play by the players as well, but most of all, ladies and gents, the issue was midfield. Now, you've heard me speaking on the course of the channel about McTominay and Fred, Matic, Van der Beek, all of those players, and I have divulged in a lot of stuff regarding those players. What do I think the player should do, where I think they should play, how they should be selected, and what have you. I have discussed all of those things. But Saturday, guys, it really showed the issues that we have, what we are lacking as a club, and a lot of persons, if you look at the pundits, they are saying that, oh, Manchester United are contenders and what have you. But we, Manchester United, over the years, we know that we are not just contenders. We are a team that year after year, annually in other words, we are always competitors. We are always in the race for titles. We're not just competitors. We're always either winning the Champions League, then we may not have won the Premier League, or vice versa. And I am not used to Manchester United constantly struggling to remain in top 4 and all of those things. So I may have strayed away a little bit, guys, but I'm just saying, we still have the same problems post Sir Alex Ferguson. So for me, I think we still need some stuff to rectify in order to be title contenders, as the pundits have said. But I don't think we're there yet. I know that the addition of Jadon Sancho, the addition of Raphael Varane are 2 tremendous signings, and I am 100% on board with the purchase of both players. But however, now that the season has begun, I know it's early days, regarding Sancho, I think he should instantly be in the starting lineup because Martial doesn't look up to par at this moment in time. I won't go too harsh on him because he was out for a very large portion of last season. Daniel James, I won't even divulge a lot in that. I don't think he's ready to be a Manchester United starter. I think he can come off the bench, to add a different dynamic to the game. But in order to be a regular starter or starting on a whole, I don't think that is Daniel James. Scott McTominay and Fred, it seems as though in terms of, not being run around or being outrun in the middle, I think those 2 midfielders are best suited. But ultimately, in my opinion, if you're going to play Paul Pogba on the wing I think that the person who should go in that middle is either Donny van de Beek with one of the two, which is Fred and McTominay. Excuse me. Now, by looking at the thumbnail, by looking at the title of this live stream, this late night show, clearly, based on what I have said a while ago, we still need a midfielder. That is the missing piece. Now, in my opinion, if I was in control of how Manchester United deals with business, first thing I would have done is to get a defensive midfielder, not a box-to-box, because we have several box-to-box there. We have Van de Beek, who is box-to-box. We have Pogba, who is box-to-box, and McTominay, who is box-to-box. Now, I think that McTominay is a good squad player, but not a regular starter. Now, why I say this, I think that he can add a dynamic, just like a Daniel James. Come off the bench, change the tactics of the game and what have you. That is what I think Scott McTominay is best suited in our squad as. Now, I don't think we need to get the player who you see on this thumbnail. Now, I think the most suited player for this role, or for the missing piece to the jigsaw, should be either Ruben Neves, Dennis Zakaria, and Bissouma as well, who plays for Brighton. So Bissouma and Ruben Neves are Premier League proven. So if you're worrying about adjusting to the league, you won't have to worry about that from a Ruben Neves or a Brighton player in Bissouma. So in getting Saul Niguez, I think it's just adding to the caliber, the type of players that we already have in the squad, which are, the Freds, my apologies, the Van de Beeks, the Pogbas, and what have you. I think that any midfielder that Manchester United buys next should be an out-and-out central defensive midfielder. When I was watching that game on Sunday, I was very appalled by even the selection. How is it that you're going to St. Mary's, Southampton, and you're playing Matic and Fred? First of all, there is no creativity in that pivot. No, Fred is solely, hell-bent on tenacity and winning back possession. And yes, Matic is a passer, and he was a maestro. Operative word, was a maestro. But I think that his better days are behind him. He cannot do these things that he used to. When you would have said 5 years ago, or rather 3 years ago, the season when it was Matic, Pogba, and Bruno in our midfield, as our midfield three, sorry. I'm speaking about the same season where Anthony Martial was the player of the year as well. Now, bearing that in mind, ladies and gents, it cannot be Matic anymore. Matic can get a run in a FA Cup tie, a Carabao Cup tie, or better yet, if this is his last season, send him elsewhere. Send him to a league where he will be, competitive there. The Premier League, up to date, is now becoming the most competitive league in the world. Persons can argue that no, it's La Liga, no, it's the Bundesliga, no, it's whatever league you may call it. But right now, in this point in time, as it stands in recent times, the Premier League is the most competitive league in the world, and as such, Matic is not up to that level anymore. Alright? So, for crying out loud, I am appalled as to the lineup Ole decided to play on Sunday. Now, another thing that caught me by surprise, ladies and gents, was that there was no inclusion of Donny van de Beek. Now it's the second game of the season and nothing. No, To cry out loud, guys. A player with COVID-19 or has just recovered from COVID-19 has gotten game over Donny van de Beek. Now, what can Donny do in order to show his value, guys? Huh? Now, that is our next thing as well. Why is it that you're saying that over the weeks and months of last season, Donny is not up to standard? He needs to be more match sharp. He needs to be fitter. He needs to be more strong. Now we have seen he has put on some muscle mass. He has been arguably our best preseason player. So what is the excuse now, Ollie? Not going into much details, Ole does not favor Donny van de Beek. Now, if it was Donny and Fred, fine, I could see that because Donny is tenacious just as Fred, but he's creative and he can pass the ball very well. So I would rather to see Donny, McTominay or Fred, or it has to be Pogba or Fred, McTominay or Pogba. It has to be a rotation between those three players. It has to be between Donny, Fred, and McTominay. It cannot be anything else if we're not going to get any other midfielder. Now let's get back to what today's show is about. Sorry about that. I just wanted to highlight that for a moment. Now let's get back to what today's show is about, which is who next. Now I started off by saying, alright, we have gotten Tom Heaton, which in my opinion could be a starting keeper as well because he's a quality keeper. We've gotten Sancho, which is our last year signing, so signing him is not much of a big deal for me. But Varane is a thumbs up signing for me. So yes, we've got that. But remember, guys, we didn't really lack anything much on the wings, because most of our goals came from the wings. You have Rashford being an inverted winger, crossing the ball occasionally and getting the goals from wings. So too Greenwood when he's placed in those positions. And of course, you have Luke Shaw who likes to go forward and put crosses in the box. So we don't really have problems, creating from those areas. But mark you, getting Sancho is a tremendous signing and I'm very happy that we've gotten that player. But all I'm saying, that was not the priority. So guys, I would have preferred us to get a centre back and a CDM first, then to approach getting a Jadon Sancho afterwards. No guys, no, earlier on today we heard this imminent that Saul Niguez is coming to Manchester United, or it's rumored that Manchester United rather is interested in getting Saul Niguez. Remember now guys, Saul Niguez is not a CDM. He can play in a double pivot as the box to box, which is basically the Pogba role. But he's not the CDM. Alright? Now, if Paul Pogba exited Manchester United, no problem with getting a Saul Niguez, because in some instances he fits Manchester United sort of better than Pogba. Because why I say this guys is because Ole is literally playing Pogba out of position to accommodate McTominay and Fred for whatever reason. I cannot understand. But when you get a Saul Niguez, right there, you have a player that you can place in the midfield. You know what I'm saying? But if we have Pogba, why do we need Saul Niguez? Because we have Van de Beek, who is, in my opinion, the person who comes off the bench for Pogba. When you have Fred and McTominay as the other pivot guy. You get what I'm saying? So, when I'm hearing Saul Niguez to Manchester United and what have you, that for me is like, I'm not intrigued by it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not intrigued because there is a specific style of player that Manchester United needs. We need a player who is Premier League proven. a player who can do the job, a player who can be tenacious, can win back the ball, and is able to pass the ball well. Now, I'm going to just read some articles here that I have gotten. So firstly, I'll read what the Manchester Evening News says. Alright? So it starts by saying, Manchester United are unlikely to make more signings before the transfer window closes next Tuesday. Atletico Madrid midfielder Saul Niguez has again been linked with a move to Old Trafford today, but the Manchester Evening News understands a deal for the 26-year-old is unlikely. Saul could leave Atletico before the window closes next week, but Chelsea is more likely to be his destination. United have already spent around 116 million in the window in signing Rafael Varane from Real Madrid and Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Since the deal for Varane was struck, the possibility of further incomings has always been dependent on player sales, and so far nobody has left United on a permanent deal this summer. Now that makes total sense. Now why I am saying that this Saul Niguez thing is imminent is because there are other articles as well who are saying that, and if you go on YouTube, other persons are saying, that Manchester Evening News article is there as well that says that Manchester United are interested and that he's available for loan because of whatever. But hold on, before I just go back to the Saul Niguez, there was a statement here on this article that says Manchester United spent 116 million. That's rubbish. Well, they did spend that, but the Sancho signing was a last season signing, so I wouldn't count that. But then put it there. But yeah, anyways, let's get back to Saul. Now, what I'm saying, guys, I agree with this article that is here on Manchester Evening News, right? I agree totally, because what the article is saying here is that it is unlikely. But it is unlikely because Manchester United has not managed to sell any players. Now, that's our next issue with the club. We have problems selling players because of wage bills and stupid contracts. Giving players the wage bill, giving players wages as well. That other clubs will never give their players. On average, a lot of our players are on 90 plus million pounds a week, which is equivalent to 130 million euros a week. So when you look at it, a lot of clubs are not intrigued to get a Manchester United player, because knowing a player, if he's leaving a club to go elsewhere, he may want to have similar wages or more wages. So this is why Manchester United also has a big issue in order to get players off the wage bill and all of that stuff. Now, for me, even if we sold Jesse Lingard, even if we sold what's his name, Diego Dalot, and even if we have managed to sell Matic, which is a few of the players who I believe should have been sold, I don't think it will do us justice, guys, because if you sell Jesse Lingard, you're getting roughly between 20 to 25 million. Saul Niguez is valued at 30 something. You still need to raise some more. If you're going to sell Diego Dalot, which I don't think much clubs are in for the player, because it seems as though the player is more interested in proving that he is worth, staying at United. And Matic, I don't know who is going to buy Matic, honestly, because I think his better days are behind him. But Who knows what can happen? We heard rumors about Roma and all of those stuff. But the point is, we have not managed to sell those players to raise some funds, which I totally agree with. You spend money on Varane, you spend money on Sancho, and you have several players on the wage bill. Remember now, a lot of players also came back from loan spells. Pereira, yes, he's back he went to Flamingo, sorry, not back anywhere. Which I think is a vacation thing for him, because Brazil, Flamingo, come on now. And then we heard Brandon Williams has went to Norwich City. Good. And you still have a few players. Jesse Lingard was very much so approached by West Ham, where he was loaned that listen up, we want the player. And Manchester United are behaving stubborn. They want to keep the player. And I don't think he'll get much game time. Sunday he came on the wing in a game where what he offers to the table is not what we need in order to win the game. Van de Beek needed to come in. Pogba is already on the wing. Come on now. So, when it is saying here that, it is unlikely. For me, it's unlikely for more than just not selling players. Because another thing as well, Chelsea, it seems to be most likely the destination for Saul. Listen up, remember when Manchester United is in contention for a player, generally when it's against Chelsea or Man City or even Liverpool, we are oftentimes not the victors of that race. The only time I won is when we got a dreadful Alexis Sanchez, who reluctantly came to United, and the only reason he came was because United offered a lump sum of money. Alright, so I'm going to read the next article for you guys. Now, this is the Express. It says here, this is a United Kingdom newspaper outlet that it doesn't really have much things, a lot of the times that happens, but sometimes they get a lot of things right. And then now that this Saul thing is the most relevant news out there, I just wanted to see what they were saying. And when I read it, I was saying, alright, this kind of makes some sense. So I'm going to read it to you and you guys can tell me your opinions on it. Alright? So firstly, it says here, Manchester United are being linked with a move for Saul Niguez as the close of the transfer window ticks down. Atletico Madrid are open to selling the Spain international this summer. And while Chelsea have emerged as potential suitors, the Red Devils could kazump their rivals. So kazump here would mean snub the deal, so jump in and just take it away from Chelsea. Now, generally when we are in a race with Chelsea, we are not oftentimes the victors. It's a rarity that we win these battles against our rivals. So now it continued by saying Manchester United have signed Tom Heaton, Jadon Sancho and Rafael Varane so far for this summer, but they are still eyeing a late deal. So you see the contrast here. Manchester Evening News says that we're not looking to sign anybody else, and then the Express is saying we are eyeing a midfielder. So probably, let me finish first and then I explain the two articles. So, but they are still eyeing a late deal for a midfielder too, despite spending the bulk of their transfer budget so far. Rennes Eduardo Camavinga and Wolves Ruben Neves have both been linked with moves to Old Trafford, but so too has Saul Niguez, who is also on Chelsea's radar. So, back to what I was saying. Manchester Evening News said that it doesn't seem that Manchester United is going to buy the player because we need to sell players. Now, I think when reading this, this also makes sense. This is the Express as well. I think this also makes sense because now that not Manchester Evening, now that Manchester United has got a slap on the wrist of reality, saying that when not saying looking at the game against Southampton, when they saw that they found it difficult to break down the team. They saw that we had issues in order to transition the ball from the defense line to the attack. Probably it changed their perspective as it relates to, alright, it looks like this team that we currently have is okay. Now, I'm saying by reading the Manchester Evening News, I am just insinuating that probably that's the approach by the board of Manchester United. Okay, we're good. Varane, Sancho, we're getting the sales. You know, we have Van de Beek, we have Pogba, we have all of these players who can do the job in the midfield. You understand what I'm saying? So now that they went and they played the second game of the season and they see that is a different approach. You see that Southampton is more cohesive in as it relates to defensive aspect and being more compact, you know, making things more difficult for Manchester United and also causing issues for us defensively, you know. So when they saw these things and probably Ole said, alright, probably we need to actually push, you know, a move for a midfielder, a player who can be in our pivot that breaks down play and can pass the ball, you know. So by reading these two articles, you see there's a contrast. One is saying that Manchester United is, you know, not in for a midfielder because we haven't sold anybody and so on. And then you hear this one is saying that we're eyeing a midfielder. And you hear the names that I've mentioned, Ruben Neves, and now you hear Camavinga. You know, Camavinga has been heavily linked with United during the window, and then all of a sudden you didn't hear anything, but now he's back because what happened? There's a clear indication now that Manchester United needs that CDM right now, and that is why you're hearing all these names being referred now. Now, I was saying earlier, I don't think Saul Niguez is the marquee player in our midfield right now. I think that the player who we actually need, ladies and gents, is a Ruben Neves, a Dennis Zakaria, the Brighton guy that I said earlier, Bissouma. I think those are the players who should be in our team at this moment in time as the next midfield option. We need to get rid of McTominay and Fred. Time to get rid of McTominay and Fred. They're not good enough. Yes, they serve a purpose and they can do a job for a FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. Stop getting box-to-box midfielders. They are box-to-box for a reason because their best attributes, you know, their best performances is doing the box-to-box job. Don't try and convert a box-to-box into a holding midfielder. It totally takes away from what the player can do. So it doesn't make sense you say that you want to sign a Saul Niguez and then you're going to say that, alright, we're going to make Saul play the CDM role when Saul is not a CDM. When you watch Atletico, Saul is box to box, and they have is it Koke or Koke is the attacking midfielder? Hold on, Koke. Give me a second. Give me a second. So Koke is actually the CDM. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Koke seems to be the actual CDM, the holding guy. And Saul is box to box. He plays box to box for Atletico Madrid. Right? Or it was Thomas Partey. However you used to call it. You get me, guys? So getting Saul Niguez on loan or whatever them say he's available for, I don't think he's what we need. You have Pogba already. So answer this question for me, Oli, if you're seeing this. If we buy Saul when Rashford come back and fit and ready and hungry to play, where are you going to put Pogba? Because we have Jadon Sancho. Where are you going to put Pogba? You're going to be forced. So, well, probably always playing Pogba on the wing because you know there is no Rashford available. You get me? But hold on. We have seen Ole done it. Play Pogba on the wing when Rashford is fit. So, what is Ole going to do when Rashford is back? We have Sancho, you know. We have Greenwood, you know. We have Martial, you know. All of our frontline players. Cavani, you know. So you tell me, what is Ole going to do? Tell me what Ole are going to do. What Ole are going to do. So, this is where I want to just mention now, ladies and gents, that right now, as it stands, a better Ole, if he's demanding a midfielder as his next signing to buy Camavinga or Ruben Neves, you have Zakaria who plays for Mönchengladbach in Germany, and we also have Bissouma who plays for Brighton. All of these players, Bissouma, Zakaria and Ruben Neves, they are in the price range of 30 to 40 million euros. Alright? So, not only the price is reasonable, their attributes of being tenacious, and also being good passers of the ball, they fit the profile as a best suited CDM in Manchester United. Now, you can get rid of McFred partnership because now you can play Pogba in his best position as a box to box. Then you have Bruno can work his magic. He has all the freedom now because you have that CDM who can do the right job to unleash those two players in front. Right? Then everything works out itself. You have Varane around there. We don't need to play two CDMs really with a Varane. We can play a 4-3-3 formation. And you can still have Bruno in the advanced role, having the wing backs, really doing the winger's job, being wing backs, so to speak. And you have, of course, the CDM dropping there to give like an extra cover with the centre backs. Remember, it's Varane and Maguire, so you don't need two, you don't need a back six as we love to play. Right? So guys, thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. This is where I'll close off the video. And I'll be back again if there's any news, because the transfer window is fastly closing, guys. So let's see if there's any updates in the course of the day, in the course of the week, and so on. So smash the like button, smash the subscribe